Hi, my name is Craig Freeman, Beacon's Community Connection Manager. I'm currently standing outside 66 West, 39 homes in Edina for youth aged 16 to 24 who have experienced homelessness. Now, Beacon owns 3 buildings designed for youth, including this one. We also have Pryor Crossing as well as Nicollet Square. Across those 3 buildings, we have 125 homes, which actually makes us the largest developer of supportive housing for youth in the state of Minnesota. Which is something that we're proud of, but we also want someone to come knock us off that perch, because we know every night in Minnesota, there's approximately 6,000 young people in that age group who are homeless and unaccompanied. We need more homes for youth. So we are currently now on 66th Street, right in between Xerxes and France. It's a great location for transportation. In fact, there are bus stops literally steps from the building. It's also a great place for employment. Southdale is right across the street. All kinds of medical employment in the other direction. Whatever residents need for transportation and employment, it is right here. Now let's go inside and take a look. Here in 66 West's lobby, you find the front desk, property manager's office, as well as this great sitting area. We set up the lobby this way so that someone can be here 24/7, both for security reasons as well as to be here if a resident needs anything. No matter when it might be, someone is here to help. Additionally, here at 66 West, we have this wonderful artwork that was commissioned to honor the angel donors that gave to the 66 West project. Each name here on this list pledged to donate $50,000 over 5 years in order to fund the initial services for 66 West. Services funding is always one of the more difficult aspects of creating a building because it doesn't exist usually in just general governmental funds. We have to raise it initially, and then we can start to bring in those governmental funds at a later time. While all units here have their own kitchen, this community kitchen is still a very important place. It takes a lot of trust for residents and staff to do the very difficult work that they do together. And this kitchen allows a laid-back way for those 2 groups to really build that trust. I know that they do Thursday and Friday breakfast and brunches here that they alternate. There have been Thanksgiving meals here, other meals. I know they have a Juneteenth barbecue coming up soon. A lot of trust is built in that way when they can just interact as people, not as staff and residents. Here in this living room and lounge space, residents are able to come together and watch TV or play video games or access the patio and grilling space just to my left. More importantly though, staff is able to host larger classes here in this space. When I've been on site, I've seen everything from financial literacy classes and how to have healthy relationships to acting and music classes being hosted in this space. It's a great place for folks to come together and do what they need to. This hallway is where our on-site service provider, Simpson Housing, has their offices, as well as a small conference room for meeting with individuals. On-site services are absolutely vital to the buildings that Beacon builds. As important as it is to have a roof over your head, having those services on site can really make the difference for someone who is exiting homelessness in allowing them to move forward with their lives. These services can include everything from education, help finding employment, navigating the healthcare system, to really big things like dealing with trauma. If you're living in a Beacon building, chances are you've experienced trauma on some level, and dealing with that is vital. Then it can also be small things. Here at 66 West, as well as our other youth buildings, they might hear things like, how do you cook spaghetti? How do you do your laundry so it doesn't come out all gray? Whatever residents need, experts from Simpson are right here on site to provide those services. We are now here in my favorite room at 66 West, the library. When we first announced that we were going to build 66 West, we got a lot of pushback, as we do with most of our buildings. The pushback here, however, focused on the fact that folks said, there aren't homeless people in Edina. I mean, this is Edina after all. No matter how often we tell people, I don't care if you're in Edina, Minnetonka, Maple Grove, Woodbury, there are folks experiencing homelessness, they might not believe us. But then the librarians from Southdale, which is just across the street, raised their hands. And they said, there are absolutely folks experiencing homelessness in Edina. We see them every day. They come in to use the computer, use the bathroom, just to get someplace warm. And that's really what got the ball rolling to where we are today. When 66 West opened in 2017, it was the first affordable housing to open in Edina since 1991. Now, to honor that relationship with the Southdale librarians, we have this library. If you look at the books, most of them are Hennepin County Library books. Staff from the library comes in about once a month and swaps them out, brings in new ones, and even will take requests from residents for a particular author or book or genre. It's really a great way to honor the fact that the librarians stepped up and said, yes, we need 66 West. Welcome to a home at 66 West. As with most of our homes, they are efficiency studio style, so they have the kitchen and bathroom right here on site. Additionally, all of the homes come with a bed, dresser, and tables and chairs, so residents don't have to worry about that. Now, whenever I come into one of these homes, I always like to think about the folks who are going to be living here. And it always reminds me of a young woman named Tabitha. Tabitha used to live at Pryor Crossing, one of our other youth buildings. When Tabitha moved in, she'd been experiencing homelessness. Now, she was 18 and still in school, so what she'd been doing is riding the bus up and down University Avenue all night long. That was her way to try and find someplace relatively warm and relatively safe. Then in the morning, she would get up, she would go to school, and she would try to be successful. Needless to say, that was a very difficult way to be successful at school. But Tabitha got a home at Pryor Crossing, which is actually right on University Avenue. And whenever I enter one of our homes, I picture her entering that home for the very first time and looking out the window at the street she'd been up and down at that point hundreds, maybe 1,000 times. But now she was someplace actually warm, actually safe. She was in her own home. So when she got up in the morning and she went to school, she was actually able to be successful and move on with her life. That is what Beacon Housing does. It gives folks the possibility and the base for moving forward with their lives. Welcome to the 66 West Meditation Room. When this building was being designed, there was this small bit of space on the second floor. Wasn't big enough for a unit, but we wanted to make use of it in some way. So if you look at the wall outside, it says multi-purpose room. We didn't know what this room was going to be, but it became very clear as soon as the building opened that a meditation room was what it would become. A place where residents can come and get away from their troubles if their troubles happen to be in their home. They can come in here and literally meditate, or just sit, or play with a Zen garden. Whatever their self-care is, they can do it here. Now, we learned so much from the creation of this meditation room that now almost all Beacon buildings include meditation rooms in their original design. It's a great addition to our homes. This is Dale's closet. When a new resident moves in, oftentimes they don't have the things that someone needs in order to have a home. They don't have silverware and plates. They don't have bathroom supplies, those things that you absolutely need in order to have home. So what they're allowed to do at that time is come here and pick out the things that speak to them. It is stocked with all sorts of different looking things so that they get to pick something that fits their personality and fits who they are. And then best of all, when they're all done at 66 West, when it's time for them to move on to whatever happens to be coming next for them, they're able to take those things and feather their nest as they move forward. Now, Dale's closet is an absolutely wonderful thing. And it's particularly wonderful because we at Beacon have very little to do with it. It is completely stocked by volunteers from local congregations. Congregations who have been making these quilts for residents of 66 West when they move in since the very first day that this building existed. So many young people have gone on to their lives with a beautiful quilt because of wonderful volunteers at our local congregations. Unlike essentially every other Beacon building, 66 West has a basement. Because this building was originally a bank branch, it had a large basement for a vault. While that vault is no longer here, there is a lot of wonderful space here. And we're going to go take a look at what we've been able to use that space for. One of the ways that we're able to use this extra space in the basement is for bike storage. This is becoming more and more common at our Beacon buildings because we try and build these buildings in places that are great for transportation, places where residents can live and not need to have a car. And 66 West is a prime example of that. On 2 main bus lines, people can take their bikes, hop on the bus, between the two, get wherever they want in the Twin Cities Metro. The best use of this extra space in the basement occurred a couple years after 66 West opened. Jess, on-site supervisor for Simpson Housing, had been having a lot of conversations with residents, trying to figure out how to get residents more involved with their advocate. Jess realized that a lot of residents like to make music. And she thought to herself, if they had a space like a studio that they could make music in, that could be used as a trade for working with their advocates. So that's what she decided to do. She created this beautiful studio, building the vocal booth by herself, had a resident paint this beautiful mural that's behind me, and created a fantastic studio space for residents to come. And in the meantime, while they're making their music, they're chatting with and working with their advocate on whatever it is that they have going on in their lives, getting ready for those next steps. This is an apartment building in 2023, so it has to have a gym. It has to have a physical fitness center where residents can come and work out. We've got running machines and walking machines. We've got a punching bag. They do yoga classes in here. And best of all, when they do that, they bring in a yoga instructor who is a licensed youth worker. So even while they're doing yoga, residents are in the presence of someone who understands what they're going through and can help them with any emotions that might bubble up while they're working out. It's a great place to work out. I hope you enjoyed this look inside 66 West. It is my absolute pleasure to be able to show folks around our buildings. And even though I'm not able to show you this one in person right now, being able to be here and talk to you about it has been wonderful. Thank you, and I look forward to showing you around more buildings in the future.